So, what is the living world? When God created the world, He created a living world. Which meant it took energy and turned it into life. It would do it the way that God could formulate and that was the living world. We're of the living world. We've forgotten we are, for the most part. But when we remember this, it pleases God, for that's how He truly made it, a living world. When you can start seeing the living world you live in, more than you see the secondary world that was made by man's manipulation of God's work, you begin to perceive the world as it was intended. You begin to perceive God as He intended it. It pleases Him. He will help you do things in the living world. You can make clouds come. You can make rain. He hears man who has seen the living world, for that is where it was intended to be. There is great happiness in the living world. It's pure, honest, dynamic. Each sunset says good night. Each sunrise says good morning. Everything is running at the frequency it was designed to be. I could talk about how man has distorted things, but it's obvious. I don't need to rehash. It's too negative. I'm just saying, if you want to experience miracles, if you want to really see the world you're in, you must refocus how you perceive it. You have to perceive it as God intended it to be, the living world. See, God doesn't need you. In fact, He's basically turned His back on us. Not that He doesn't love us. It's just we've disrespected Him. We've disrespected the world He has made. The energy it takes to make a living world is beyond comprehension. Wind, sunlight, birds and whales, air and water. Huge amount of mathematics to create things like that. Huge amount beyond our comprehension. But he did it. There's not another one around that we can find. It takes a lot of work to keep it. A lot of work. He didn't make the world and be done with it. He works it every day, every second. Everything. Energy is not free. Energy has to be manipulated from other things. Changed, transformed. That's why he has taken disfavor to us. That we have turned from understanding this, understanding the hard work he does every second, like anyone who would work hard for others and they won't acknowledge. He's disappointed and he's sad. He knows love. He made love. But he hasn't abandoned us. He's just left it up to us to find our way back. He's more than willing to be there. He's got a lot he has to do. He loves we take his living world and make subroutines out of it. Grow crops. Raise families. But they're all subroutines of his living world. And that's the first thing you have to reestablish. You have to see his living world. You have to see that first. Honestly, it's right there in front of you, like air. But you have to see it for him to give grace to you. You owe that to his work. Oh, and that rewards that are there that are wordless, that are beyond what you've ever experienced. The thoughts that are in your heart, your head, the way you move within this living world, it becomes as magical as it really is. So that is the first thing. To practicing the living world, you see it by just opening your eyes. Look at what it takes to make a plant grow. Look at what it takes to create life. Look what it takes to make a sun shine. Look what it takes to make rain fall. Look what it takes to make the wind shake the trees. Think of the energy involved. God also does things that create a chain reaction. He doesn't do a singular thing. We as humans tend to do singular events. That's part of realizing the living world. Going out and having dinner, watching TV, they're singular events. God does dynamic events. They're always in motion, always moving, changing. Love is a dynamic event. Kindness is a dynamic event. There are events we do that can be dynamic. Oh, it's a beautiful world, the living world. So each day that you go out, look at everything that's alive, including yourself. You know, humans in their man world forget how much around them is really living. What got created by the Creator. And we start seeing that we are a subworld within the living world. That man's cars and buildings, roads, trains are just subworlds within the living world. We begin to perceive, to open to this. He will reward you. You will have great things happen to you. He's the Creator. He can create whatever he wants. But he's not going to do it to someone that doesn't see him. Why should he? He doesn't owe you anything. You have to earn him. You have to see him. That's God, the living world. Bye.